I spent a lot of years working as a private investigator for a lot of criminals. To this day, you can never work out how many bad things a human can do to another human.
This program is giving back people their lives.
From my standpoint, if you teach them how to fish, they're going to be able to catch their own fish. If you keep handing them the fish, they're going to be as redundant as when you started.
Yep.
Why would you allow women and children to suffer when you could do something about it as a man?
Okay, guys, today I have a distinguished world changer who is transforming lives one person at a time, one kind act at a time. This is Jan Underwood, who is a missions priest. He is the founder of All Saints Ministries right here. This program is giving back people their lives, is bringing them personal salvation and returning them into the ranks of civilization, society, and being members again from the down and out and coming up. So I really, really, really thank you for that. Also, your background is in private detective. You are a private detective before your missionary work. Started in the seminary at 40 years old.
Yep.
And is just really changing conditions in Sarasota. And thank you so much for coming onto the show. You are really an example, a role model for so many.
Well, I've never had anybody say so many wonderful things about me in such a short period of time. So, I think why we do what we do, and there's an old saying in England, women and children first. So my challenge to the male population of the world would be, why would you allow women and children to suffer when you could do something about it as a man? You're meant to give your life to the women and children so they could survive, right? And that's always been the premise to the Western world, with armies and fighting and this. And in other countries where I've been, like yourself, it's an actual fact. I found that, fun enough, in Latin countries, it's more predominant about the survival of the women first, and the men are much more courageous than in other countries. But I come from England originally, and it's sort of inherited into us and bred into us that stiff upper lip, no crying, fight for your family and things like that, which is, in the most part, I would say, for most men throughout the world. But for me, I spent a lot of years working as a private investigator for a lot of criminals.
For like they hire you
yes.
or okay.
Yeah, they hire. So if you're an attorney, you would go to, because you're looking to go to jail, right? For whatever crime you've committed. So now the prosecutor uses, obviously, the law enforcement. The defendant uses investigators. So the attorney comes and says, okay, well, you've done this, this, and this. I will use my investigator to find out if this is true and if there's enough cause beyond a reasonable doubt so that you don't have to go to jail. The minutia of criminals is so big that when you talk to people, how should I put it? You cannot ever, to this day, you can never work out how many bad things a human can do to another human. And you cannot even contemplate how bad they could do it to a child. I can understand, as a man, how another man can go up and hurt another man. Because, you didn't do me right, I didn't do you right, so now we're going to solve it ourselves. But the big issue for me is to stop the criminal element from demeaning the women and children. So, you and I both know William, And the discussion we had the other night, which is the same discussion that I've had with other people over the years, is really a lot of the time that people do things is because they don't have the ability to communicate correctly because they don't have the education. So there's a saying in English, stupid people do stupid things, right? So if, for example, I was one faith and you were the other, and I can articulate myself to be able to say, listen, this is why I do this. This is why I go here. This is what I eat. This is what I do. And you say, okay, I can appreciate that because this is what I do. This is where I eat. And this is blah, blah, blah. So then we now have the ability to negotiate and reason with each other. Just the same with countries. So the problem is that in most of the countries that have massive problems, it's normally due to a lack of education.
Right.
They can't communicate. So, if I tell you, hey, listen, you can go to the doctor, read this pamphlet and don't do this and do that, you go, okay, and you would do it. If I can't read and write, how am I meant to navigate that? How am I meant to get a job? How am I meant to better myself? How am I meant to do anything that will be life-changing? So I did not want to do what I do.
You mean the investigative part?
No, I did. I love my job, but I did not want to do what I do now.
Oh, you mean, okay.
I never set out to do this.
Yep.
I actually got poisoned when I was 39, and I ended up. But not by poison myself, right? So by accident. So I ended up in hospital. So after a long time of being in hospital and everything else, and the whole 9 yards of getting to the point where, the doctor says, you're going to pass away.
Okay, wait.
Okay, let me just finish.
Okay. I want to get, okay, fine.
Let me finish that. So I was not a church-going person.
Okay.
I didn't like going to church. I never wanted to go to church. My whole family I told my mother when I turned 18, I said, I'm not going to walk in another church. I'm not going to church, and I'm not going to polish my shoes. So
you were going to church all the time? When you up
to 18, I had to go 7 days a week. So I was like very anti it by the time I got to 18. So anyway, years later, I married this girl, and we have these children and everything else, and blah, blah, blah. And she would go to church every day. I was like, I don't go to church with you. You go on your own. So anyway, I ended up in hospital. And so just to cut to the chase, I ended up really sick. So when you get very sick in hospice, they say to you, well, we're going to make you comfortable. We increase your morphine, and you're going to die on Friday. And that's pretty much it. So
you were told that.
Oh yeah. So I was pretty okay with that part because I was in a lot of pain. So we got to that part. My wife says to me, she says, listen, she said, you got nothing to lose. You could go to church. I said, listen, I'm English. I'm not doing that. I want to die in my bed. And I want to die in my bed. I want to get cremated, and I want to send my ashes back to England. That's it. So we're very black and white like that. So then I thought, man, you're really a horrible human because you're just about to die. And the only thing she's asking is if you could go to church one time. So I thought, okay.
And you have your 4 kids at this time already?
Yeah, I have kids at the time. But so I says to her, I said, okay, I'll go to church. So she put me in this van. She took me off all the things that they hook you up in the hospital with and everything. And she took me to a church, and I did not want to go in this church for love nor money because they were Pentecostals and they're all jumping up and down and stuff. And I think, oh, this is like torture. So she put me in the back of this church, and I'm thinking, and people are coming up, they got a bad toe, bad knee, bad this. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm just about to croak here. So anyway, the long story short was, pastor walked to the back of the church, put his hand on me, said, 4 hours later, I got up and walked out.
What?
So a few months later.
So we can't, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, I did
he
go
say
back.
anything? Did you, what was the what? how was this experience for you? Like, walk me a little more play by play.
Okay, so here's the cool thing is, you know how some people say, oh, the Bible, this and this and this. Well, remember, from 0 to 18, I had to read the Bible all the time, right? So it wasn't a point of me not reading the Bible. I just didn't want to read it no more.
Right.
So, and I didn't want, and I was done with the hypocrites in the church.
Yeah.
I was done.
Yeah.
They all like, gimme, and my name's Jimmy, and nothing really accomplished. So I wanted to stay as far away from that as I possibly could. Plus, my job is dealing with heinous people. So that doesn't line up with, in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. That doesn't line up with any of that. And it definitely doesn't line up with going to a Pentecostal church jumping up and down. So anyway, I went back on the Monday because now I'm walking around. I'm talking now. I'm walking.
So you go to the church.
Yeah.
And the
which
pastor
has really
comes.
nothing to do with this part. But
no,
yeah.
I know, but it's just because it's a miracle.
Yes.
I mean, a miracle was happened to you.
Yeah.
And it was at the church which you didn't want to go to.
Yeah. And in the back of one.
And in the back of the church.
No sitting up front and jumping around.
Do you know, like, in your opinion, what happened then? Like, what were those few minutes?
It was 4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours I spent on the floor. And 4 hours later, which is so crazy, I got up and I says, oh, so, but before I couldn't talk, right? Because I became narcoleptic by this time.
So when you went there, you couldn't talk.
No.
You couldn't walk.
No.
You couldn't survive on your own. You were hooked up to machines.
Yeah. But no, they took me off the ventilators and stuff before I came to the building.
Okay.
So I had oxygen.
Okay.
But I wasn't on morphine at that point.
Okay.
That was not being prescribed to me. So, but the reason I was on the morphine is it obviously kills the pain. So the reason you're going to die is because your body can only take so much morphine. Eventually your heart stop anyway. So it's not wrong for the doctor to say, listen, you need to get your affairs in order because you're going to die on this day because your body can't take any more morphine. So why they keep increasing the morphine is because more pain, more body parts breaking down, more stuff is not working. So it's logical.
Yeah.
It's totally logical. So I remember when I was going to the hospital, because now I had no more to the church, I had no morphine. I said to my wife, "Please take me home. I can't take this. I'm trying to breathe."
So now you're in much more pain now.
Well, of course, yeah. So anyway, she took me to the church and she put me at the back of the church because I didn't want to be there, right? So she put me in this chair in the back of the church, and then the pastor was going through the roads praying for people, and eventually he got to the back of the church, which was where I was at, and he prayed for me and just carried on. And he didn't stand there and have a chat or anything because anyway, they were just holding me there. So that was the end of me. And then my wife just waited. And it was like, if you can imagine these lights here that we're looking at, they're bright white. That's how my body felt inside. It was just like somebody had stuck my fingers in the mains. And it felt like eternity, but it wasn't, obviously, because it was only 4 hours. So then I stood up, but it wasn't like just that. It wasn't just as normal as that, but just to quantify this.
So he prayed for you, and then you knocked out.
I just stayed there on the floor. And I'm 250 pounds. I'm not like the smallest human, right? It was like being Velcroed to the ground. You can't move. You're just, like that. You're stuck there. And I was the worst hypocrite because I used to watch people on TV and I used to bet my wife, I bet you $20 he's going to fall on the floor. I bet that one's going to do that. I bet this one. Because I didn't think it was real, right? I don't think it was real more than fly over the moon.
Wow.
And so then I was one of the candidates, I guess, if you want to call it that. So anyway, I went to the doctor on the Monday and I said, hey, listen, I want a CAT scan. I want an MRI. I want my blood work done. I want this, which they did and everything. And then I was talking to the anesthetist, and the anesthetist is the person who gives you injections and make you go to sleep, but he was the one that surprised you, all the drugs and stuff. And I was talking to him, and I says to him, I said, you know, I'm healed. Like, I'm all like, oh. so he goes, oh, well, sometimes, Jan, just before you die, you get a surge of energy. I thought, oh my gosh, that's just my luck. Here I am running around and like the Energizer Bunny, and I was going to drop dead. So I thought, oh my gosh. So then I spoke to the neurosurgeon, and I says to him, I said, you know, the other guy says, you know, he was this Jewish dude, and he goes, because he's not Christian now, because I'm all into it now, right? I go, he's not Christian, he's Jewish. And he goes, okay. I go, well, I says, well, so he said, just before you die, you get a surge of energy. So he goes, well, Jan, he goes, we can't see anything wrong with you, and you look all right and everything else. So, man, every day I'd wake up and think, right, today's got to be the day, right?
You're going to be out because the guy, what he told you.
Yeah. He's like, here's a surge of energy.
But before he said that, you said you got cured at this place.
I was.
And
I was happy
healed.
that church was healed till I went to the neurosurgeon. It's sort of a bit like, you know, when you're told, hey, you're going to go for this really nice meal and everything's going to be great. You get there, and then the other guy says, you know, I had food poisoning last week.
Right.
Like, oh, I don't want to eat now. So that was the start of my journey. And then anyway.
And can we go a little bit into the detective part just before that? Because I want to understand. So
there's no correlation to what I do now to where I ended up.
I know, but it's just.
But I have a great understanding of criminals.
You're dealing with them, and so were you always on the defense side, not on the sort of plaintiff side?
You're always on the defense.
Always
side.
on the defense.
Let's say, you know, the lady goes to the police and says, Mr. So-and-so beat me, raped me, or whatever. Then obviously the person who did that would have an attorney. There's either appointed by the state, or it's you employ one. Well, so for me, I would always work for the wealthier criminals because they're going to private attorneys. So the moral part of it is that everybody has the right to due process.
Sure.
So, you know, you say you're wrong, he says he's wrong, and somewhere in the middle, we've got to come to a conclusion that one of you's wrong. But it used to really bother me. So some clients I wouldn't take in the end.
Right, because so, you know, in the movies, you see this is real life. In the movies, is one thing, and I've just never spoken to someone like this, like yourself. So,
okay.
You know, in the movies, you see like, hey, I did the crime, but can you defend me anyway?
Yeah.
Like, is it like that? Or like how many people do you think were actually committed the crime that they were accused of?
I'd probably say at least 95%.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did they say it like, you're fine? They're like, defend us anyway? Or what's that life? Like, what is it like?
No. So let's use something simple. A guy gets arrested for dealing drugs.
Yeah.
Just say he did.
Yep. Common arrest.
A common arrest. The policeman arrests him. And so you have location, you have the product, you have the situation, and now you have to create beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, if you are sitting in a room, and this doesn't quite work like this, but I'm going to make it simpler. If you're sitting in a room, the drugs are over there, your colleague's sitting over there, the policeman comes in and says, oh, there's 20 pounds of drugs sitting here, which is a credible amount. And he goes, I'm arresting you because this is your drugs. Well, you could say, well, listen, I'm sitting in the room, but I'm not on my drugs. So where's the reasonable doubt? Were they your drugs? Did he see you walk in with those drugs? Did you pick up those drugs or whatever? Then you come to violence. You punch me in the head and I shoot you. So I have the gun, but you punch me in the head. So is it beyond a reasonable doubt that I'm in fear of my life because you're going to take my gun from me and then shoot me with my own gun?
That's the self-defense part.
So
That's the
you could
defense.
claim self-defense. But on the other hand, I could say, if I was the other side of the table, that's excessive force. I could just punch you back in the head. But so you have to use the medium. Why so many people walk?
And by walking, I mean they don't go to prison, they don't go to jail.
Sorry. So that's why they don't get why they don't end up getting prosecuted is because the case is not strong enough, or the case is strong, but it's beyond a reasonable doubt.
So that was your job.
Yes.
And when you get hired,
so I'm quite logical.
So when you get hired, let's say it's Johnny.
Right. So the attorney would call me up and say, "Okay, I have a case here, and this is all the evidence that we have from the prosecutor." Say, I used to do civil cases as well, but let's just say this was criminal. Then we would evaluate what has been presented, and it's my job to look at that and say, well, yes, he was in the room. We're not denying he wasn't in the room, but we're saying that it's beyond a reasonable doubt that it was his. It could have been that guy's over there.
Right.
And so,
do you speak to the guy a lot?
Who? The criminal?
Supposed criminal, the accused.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
So I go and I take the statement and the evidence. Yeah.
And so what have you seen? Like, just to understand
and then I would go, and then you go and you ask so it happened at 10 o'clock at night. And so blah, blah, blah. Well, how could he have been there by 10 o'clock at night if the other guy over there said at 10:02 he was still at this location? Or if there were, you're looking for, I'm making this sound a little bit simple, but you're looking for
the alibi, right? There's the alibi, the reasonable doubt. You're trying to throw shade into the prosecutor.
You're trying to get the jury to say, okay, well, no, we'll throw the case out, either because they didn't get due process properly, or they're going to throw the case out because it's not beyond a reasonable doubt, or they're going to throw the case out because it was set up, or they're going to throw the case out because the other person that gave evidence wasn't credible.
Perfect. So those are all routes to do it. Now, in the end, what do you think? So let's say the guy was dealing, I don't know, heroin.
Okay.
The guy was dealing heroin.
Yeah.
And you go, no, he wasn't. And, there's a reasonable doubt. And he walks.
Yeah.
So
that's the end of my job.
Right. That's the end of the job. What do you like that? It seems interesting because you're basically defending the guys who are, I guess, committing crimes. Now, what is your take?
So then what you do is you get a reputation.
Yeah.
So then more attorneys will call you because you're good at producing a case.
And do you think, like, just morally, right? Just in that aspect, right? Let's say he was guilty, and you suspected the guy was guilty. You're going to defend him anyway.
No, I don't defend him. The attorney defends him. It's my job to produce the case.
Oh, okay. You're on the defending team.
Yeah.
And your work ends up absolving this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make it sound like a terrible thing, but like,
what's your?
There's a criminal. There's like,
it's your moral code.
Yes, like at the end of the day, if that guy walks and he was guilty,
and then
maybe he does it again, right?
Yeah, well, he probably will.
He probably will.
Yeah.
But in prison, maybe prisons are not normally set up to rehabilitate at all. So what is your take on that? Like, if you know the guy's guilty, you're working for him. What? I know this is a long time ago. You're not doing that now, but like,
I still do some cases because I still work on my pamphlet. We still have 2 attorneys with us.
Okay.
But we're dealing more with the aspect of making sure that those people stay safe. They're not, in my eyes, criminals. Like, they haven't shot somebody, killed somebody, or anything else like that.
Okay, so you're taking cases that are not.
They're normally cases where, we would. The attorneys I work with would take that case to the prosecutor if necessary, but most of the stuff that we're dealing with is more international rather than national. So we will look at how to help somebody and prepare a case beyond a reasonable doubt that what had happened to them in a heinous way in that country would grant them permanent asylum.
Oh, that is cool.
That's what I
That's what you've
do.
evolved into.
Yeah.
What you're doing now.
Mostly we do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's true asylum, not like, hey, I just want to go over here for whatever reason.
Yeah, because I like Snickers bars or something. So
Okay.
So that is part of our project. That's why you see legal services in the middle and the first part of the brochure. So to create proper protection of human, and we predominantly deal with women and children.
Yep.
So how do you justify to the United States, say, for example, immigration service, that the person from this other country deserves to be under the protection of the United States? It doesn't have to be the United States. It could be Australia, it could be England, it could be anywhere. But that's the due process of it. And so for the attorneys that I work with, it's our job to prepare the case beyond a reasonable doubt. So we will say to the person, okay, why do you think you have the right to be here? You're here, but why do you think you have the right to be here? Or if you're at the embassy, they want to prepare a case to go to the embassy to get to travel to another country. So there's a due process of preparing that evidence. And I will say this in defense of the United States, because they really get a really bad rap over immigration. What I have seen in other countries versus the United States, is it's probably the best. Now, at the moment, there's a lot of heated stuff going on. But when you look at the process, forget about the politics.
Yep.
You have I-130's petition for relative. You have 485, which you can change from a green card. You have a 485A, which you can petition for a green card for an unknown entry. In other words, you came across the border. You're my son. I'm going to sponsor you, and I'm going to pay the fine on the 485A so you can stay because you didn't go through the channels. You just ran across the field. So now you're here. So there's a process. Then you have the process of H-1Bs, you have the process of R visas, R1s, R2s, E1s,
These are all
E2s.
types of ways that you can come and live here legally, right?
Legally.
So
But on top of that, you go to other countries, they're not as civil about this. And so regardless of Democrats or Republicans, let's put it like that, regardless of that, immigration officers on the whole are pretty cool people. They're not how sometimes people perceive them. And I've obviously been dealing with that for a long time. So yes, we have to prepare the case, and yes, we have to, have Galmo go to court, the attorney, and present the case and everything else. But it's not like other countries where it's terrible. You have appeals, you have rights, you have this, you have that. And so it's not like one and done. Now, obviously, for some people, it's one and done. But for the majority, it's not one and done. And that's the issue. So what we do now, to digress from the immigration
sure.
criminals and everything else, is we try our best, be it here or in Mexico, or I spent some time in Mexico City. And the crazy story there is I don't speak Spanish, but I ended up there, and I ended up there with some children that were autistic. And so we dealt with some Catholic priests there that wanted to help and everything else. Anyway, the whole deal is it worked out.
So
it doesn't matter if it's Bahamas, it doesn't matter if it's Venezuela,
wherever.
it doesn't matter if it's Mexico, it doesn't matter if it's Clearwater. Remember this, for every 10 people that walk past you in the grocery store next time, 2 of them are criminals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
statistically,
it doesn't really matter if you're in Clearwater or if you're in Venezuela. It's just going to be a statistic. Now, obviously, in certain parts of the world, the statistics are going to be 50-50. Yeah.
Okay, so you did a private investigation, this investigator work, right?
Yeah.
Defending people and giving them their rights, because the truth is they have rights in the legal system.
Yes.
You're working them, helping them with their rights. Now, you get saved. So how'd you get poisoned, by the way?
Oh, I poisoned myself. So I got cross with my own staff. I used to have a really large contract. And one of the contracts was for cleaning beaches. And which has nothing to do with any of this, right? And so we had these doors and they had zinc oxide on them because they had been cured back in the Second World War.
Wow.
So I was commissioned to paint them, but the paint wouldn't cure to the surface of the metals. So like an idiot, I went and poured xylene on them, which makes effectively mustard gas.
Oh my God.
Which then turns you into a big fat fly because mustard gas shuts down your central nervous system. So, yeah.
Okay, so you poison yourself trying to, clean
I
the
turned up there and I go, come on, everybody. You need to get finished. You need to get this done. And instead of putting my breathing apparatus on, I just started doing it. And a couple of hours later, not even that. It was about 40 minutes later, I'm in intensive care on oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's how I progressively got worse because if you imagine the central nervous system of an anacropod as fly, they clean themselves like this and then they clean their lungs. The idea is with the poison, it cracks them, so they die. In a human, I don't scratch myself like that. And so it starts to break down your central nervous system. So the first thing that starts to break down is like the retinas on the back of your eyes. You get these terrible headaches. Then your hands don't do this, and because it's breaking down your central nervous system, so it goes to your peripheries first. Okay. So that's the reason why you can't stand up or you can't walk, because you become a narcoleptic. You spin around.
Wow.
So
that occurs. You go to the Pentecostals. You get healed. You go to the hospital, and then now you've shipped. This is now your path into this, or no, not yet.
No,
okay. So what happens there?
So for a little bit, I stayed doing what I was doing, and then it was like crazy land. It was about 6 months into I started going to that church.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And it was crazy, right? And so one day I woke up in the morning and it was like, and I said to my wife, I'm going off to seminary now to be a priest.
Just one morning.
One morning I just woke up. I said, I'm going off now to be a priest. She goes, no. She goes, I don't want you to be a priest. She says, you're English. You don't understand. You mean a pastor? I says, no. So that's how I contacted a friend of mine who was the dean of that school, and I knew him quite well. And I said, hey, I want to be a priest. And he says, no, you don't. And then I started on that journey. And I will tell you, anybody that wants to be one, don't do it. Because it's really horrible. No, I've had friends of mine come and go, oh, we want to go do that. I says, oh, don't. You have to get up early in the morning. You have to kneel like 1,000,000 times. What it taught me was humility, because I'm quite old by this time. I'm like 40, and here I am being told by somebody younger than me, kneel, stand, kneel, stand, kneel, stand. I'm thinking, you didn't tell me to kneel, stand one more time. I'll throw you clean over that balcony. So it did teach me humility. Yeah. Out of all the different schoolings I could have gone to, like a Pentecostal Bible school or something, the teaching for a priest is humility. And they will get you humble. Yeah, you might come in there big, bad, and ugly, but you will come out humble. I don't care how big, how you are, because you will get humbled. Number one, as I used to tell my kids, walking around in a big black dress all day, that if you've never worn the clothing that I wear, to start with, it's somewhat comical.
Mm-hmm.
After a bit, it's not, because everybody and when you're going through seminary, you have to wear your clerics the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
as my kids call me, my big black dress. So that was very humbling. Yeah.
How do you choose, like, which, because as you said, there's kind of several paths, like, what, how do you choose your school?
Pentecostal or Baptist or
Yeah, correct.
I just woke up and I said, the Lord told me I'll go off and be a priest.
Okay.
I went to see the pastor who prayed for me. I
Yeah.
said, Pastor, I says, do you believe I should go off and be a priest? He said, I surely do.
Yeah.
I wanted him to say no.
Oh,
No, stay with me. No. He said, no. He goes, go be a priest.
I mean, that's the biggest, I would say, compliment from someone. I mean, I think if I was a pastor and I killed somebody, wouldn't it be amazing that they would go on and continue this? I mean, I think that's the most wonderful gift you could have given this guy.
Well, I've noticed when you start reading books and studying that people go down a certain path and you think they're going to follow the other person. And that's not what, well, I don't want to sound over religious, but that's,
Sure.
for me, I
Mhm.
would say that's not what God had in for your intention.
Sure.
So, for me, I couldn't stop myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care about the money. I lost everything. I lost my business. I lost my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my home, and I couldn't stop. But what I did come to the realization was that now I have nothing, but I only had God.
Wow.
So everything I got back was from God and God only. So that was really, they tell you sometimes you have to go in a valley before you can get on top of a mountain. But that was so dramatic because I had seen so much trauma in my life from other people, stabbing, shootings,
Mhm.
whatever, around the
Mhm.
world and stuff. But this was mind-bending. The mind is worse than the physical pain.
Mm.
You can get over a broken leg in 6 weeks, but sometimes the mind, it's more perplexing than that. It's more complicated. So to go through that, to realize afterwards that that was the journey you had to go down to be fixed, to come out the other side, to do
Mhm.
what you're going to do. And sometimes people say to me, well, why'd you do what you do? I say, well, listen, really, I should have been dead when I was in my 30s.
Mhm.
So every day after that is not my day.
Wow.
So, and here's some humor to this, right? I always think that God has a wild sense of humor. Plus, he likes to mess with me, I think, more than others. So now I'm an ordained priest
Yeah.
and I'm blah, blah, blah. And a friend of mine calls me up one day and he goes, hey, I got this girl. I said, well, good for you. And he goes, and you need to help her. Now, so I wasn't doing anything that I'm doing now.
Okay. This is the beginning.
This is the beginning. So she was a Cuban girl. And so he goes, I don't know what to do with her. Can you help her? I said, well, what am I going to do with her? I go to a little church and that's all I do. And I just do my mass like twice. And that's all I do. I don't want no Cuban girl.
And is this already All Saints, or is this a different?
I worked at that point. I now work. No, I come under the Orthodox Church.
Okay.
No All Saints at this time. And so he goes, well, you need to help her. Anyway, so I got not very much money. I'm doing this thing. And this guy says, my friend says to me, says, will you help with the girl? So anyway, she comes to see me and she'd just come to America. She'd automatically got her green card because she was from Cuba.
Yeah, Cuban.
She
It's
got
called wet foot, dry foot.
But that's gone now, by the way.
It's gone.
Yeah, but wet foot, dry foot. But those days we had wet foot, dry foot because
Yep.
this was back in 2008. So anyway, So this girl, she comes and she goes, hey, and she was, I would imagine, probably, and I dealt with a lot of risky people before. She was probably the rudest human I've probably ever met.
Oh, wow.
She had a mouth like a sailor. She was so rude and she was so bitchy. And I'm like, I don't want this. So I called up a friend of mine at a hospital and I says, hey, I got this woman. I don't know what to do with her. He goes, well, we could give her a job cleaning baseboards. You know, the baseboards at the hospital. So I brought her over there. I got into this big fight. Every day I'd get in this big fight with her. I tell her, you have to dress like this. You have to walk like this. You have to dress like this. You have to walk like this. She cussed me out all the time.
So you took her under your wing. You didn't want to.
I want her.
You didn't
I
do
already got 4 kids. I'm already fat and old. I don't need that.
But you, so what made you say yes or start this? Like,
because my friend, I'm like really gullible sometimes. Like you might call me up and say, hey, can you help me clean my car? I go, okay. I'm like really stupid. I open up myself for a lot of stupid things. So
you're selfless.
Well, I don't know. Stupid would be a better word. You're trying to make it like sound better than it is, but no, I don't. I am like glutton for punishment sometimes. So anyway, I got this girl, and one day I turned around to her. I says, listen, I'm done. I'm not Jesus. I told her, I'm not the Holy Spirit, and I'm definitely not God. I said, so you're fired. You're done. I can't deal with you no more. And she turned around to me. She says, you can't fire me because I'm not leaving. And then it was like both of us, it was a bolt went off in her head because she'd obviously got to the point where she'd never had a person say no because she's a very pretty girl. And she's only 18. And she got to the point and I said, I'm done. I don't need you. It's not helping me. So she said, well, I'm not leaving. Then it got worse because then she started telling friends to come to me. And she said, he'll fix you, he'll help you. And that's how it started. I got no business plan for this. I got no miraculous thing. We're sitting here discussing this.
She stayed at the job at the hospital cleaning the baseboards?
She's still with me. I still know her. She's gone on to be a nurse now. So she did get her act together and had a child and everything else. Yeah. But that's not the point. The point is that's how I got the next one.
So she was trying to, it's like, you can't get rid of me. In fact, I'm going to give you a bunch of other women that need
more
help.
pains. And so that's how I got more of them. Yeah. I got more and more and more and more until sometimes like 20 would turn up a day.
In one day?
In one day. And I don't know what to do with them. What are you going to do with a whole bunch of women that got kids and everything? It's like, So,
and this is mostly coming from other countries coming in here?
All coming to other countries. Now, from 2019 to 2024, it was like a flood. And so
when did you start the ministry here? I mean,
2008.
The church. 2008.
No, the church was before. The ministry, I started. Now, this is why I started that. Okay. So in 2000, I was talking to the bishop one day, and he's got, oh, Jen, you have any money? And I thought, no. He said, well, how's your parish going? I says, okay. And then he goes, well, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, man, there's something wrong with this picture. There is, because I come from England, and the bishops tell you, here's your car, here's your house, here's your this. The Orthodox Church is autonomous. So you have to create your own wealth, like a Baptist. He's like a Baptist priest. So probably on national TV, I'm going to get shot or something next week. So I thought, well, a few weeks go by. He goes, are you doing okay, Jen? I said, I'm doing fine, thank you, Father. And he goes, well, how are you coping? I said, I tell you what I did. I incorporated a mission called All Saints Ministries, and I've put everything under that, and it's just great. So that's how I went out and I got contracts, and that's how I found those women jobs. I would just go ask people if they would take them. And now how I do it, and I still do it to this day.
Yeah.
I guarantee the woman. And so I tell you, I say, listen, I'll take the woman. If you don't like her, I'll take her back.
Yeah. So when you mean this is okay, so you have this. So by the way, All Saints Ministries, this is your church now in Sarasota.
This is a mission, yeah.
Mission, sorry.
That's all right.
And what would be the difference? Mission,
well,
church,
so a church is where I would be assigned to a building and I would be the pastor every day.
Okay.
A missions priest is sort of like chewing gum on your shoe. You don't go much lower than a missions priest. So it's sort of like, it's like the bottom of the earth. So anyway, so you get assigned to a mission. Like all I do is help women and children.
Yeah.
Now I have a chapel. So I have mass because I do that every day. So if for some quirky reason you said, Jen, I'm coming to mass with you next week, you could come.
Okay.
But my chapel's about maybe twice the size of this room.
Okay.
Right? And that's it.
Okay.
And so we go through the process of having mass every day and just like anybody else. But I could have it here. But a missions priest is, or a nun is normally assigned to a project.
Okay.
And they will do that project, like Mother Teresa. I will use that as an example because everybody's heard of her. So she went to Calcutta and she dealt with primarily lepers and people like that for the whole of her life. So she was a missions nun. She wasn't at a convent assigned to chastity and prayer, right? Say in the same way. So for me, you could say to me next week, Jen, I want you to go to me, I don't say Russia.
Yep.
And off I would go. Because
it's the task.
The task in hand, not the location.
And who chose that task?
For me?
Yeah.
I just fell into it. And I went to the bishop one day and I said, listen, I really suck as a priest. I did. I told him. I said, I get really irritated. I told him, I was up front. I said, you need to get a replacement priest for me. I said, because I've been doing this Bible school thing and I teach the Bible. And next year, the same people are sitting there and they want me to teach them the same thing. I said, this is not good for me. But my realization, obviously, now is that repetitiveness is necessary and key. But and so I stood up on the Sunday and I said, you remember Moses? And they all go, yeah. And I go, well, I am so sorry. I said, because I've been going on about this Moses thing and you not getting it. No. I told this to the congregation. So I says, listen, I'm going to leave. Father Mark is going to replace me. Sorry, Father Michael it was. Father Michael is going to replace me. And it's my fault. Because I am still stuck in the desert, so I need to leave. And I went and I spoke with the bishop, and I said, listen, I'm not called to do this. This is just about sending me crazy. But it was a good time because I can appreciate what a priest goes through.
Yep.
I can appreciate what it's like every day doing mass.
Yep.
I can appreciate what it's like being a pastor to people all the time. But I think that a lot of ministers that I've dealt with, that covers all of them, they can't do what we do. They're not William and they're not me.
Yeah.
They can't deal with the degradation and intensity of seeing death and so much and stabbings and killings.
No,
and
absolutely,
all that.
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
makes some
intense.
people
That's intense.
They can't deal with it.
So you went to the bishop.
Yeah.
And then he said, good, so this is your mission? Or you chose the mission? How did that work?
Yeah, he let me do it. I told him I want to go do this. And he was okay with it. So I still go, up until he died a few years ago, I still used to go to church with him, everything the same. But for me, there's 1.4 billion women and children, people in the world. That's not right.
So
that's
to
the
clarify,
simplicity.
So here is, I'll give this as far as I understand that you showed me before this. So we have this section here there's 3 kind of levels there, 3 areas.
Where you start is the okay. So let's say
How about
this.
you explain it? You can explain it.
Let me say this. So our mission is that we don't care who you are or where you come from
Mhm.
or what your faith is.
Mhm.
We just believe that, like you and me, we're going to get on the same train
Mhm.
and we're going to go down the same railway track. And that's all there is to it. I don't care about your faith. I don't care about your anything like that. Long as you believe that we're going to get on this train together and our objective is to change and better the lives of women and children.
Mhm.
So I have, just to digress, I have friends that are atheists.
Mhm.
I have friends that are Muslims.
Mhm.
I have friends that are in the Christian body, if you like.
Mhm.
I have friends that are Scientologists,
Mhm.
and but we're all on the same train, and we're all going in the same direction. So at the end of the day, we did the train, and we put the little faces because the children have no voices and no faces. So it's the likes of yourself and myself that have to be their voice.
Mhm.
And we have to tell the world that all these horrible things that make up from now, a lot of people, is the key word at the moment is traffic.
Mhm.
But really, it's not just traffic. It's childhood trauma. It's family conflicts. It's poor people. It's domestic wars. It's crimes. It's healthcare. It's drug abuse
Mhm.
and human trafficking. But that part of human trafficking makes up part of all of this horrificness. So we say to ourselves, okay, this is what we've had. This is where you are. And now this is where you are with you and me. So we're going to take these people and we're going to make a difference.
Mhm.
But they're not ready to go to work at, and probably everybody, I'm going to use a retailer like
Sure.
Walmart.
Sure.
They're not ready for Walmart.
Yep.
They don't know how to conduct themselves. They're traumatized from whatever situation they've been in. Could it be a bad marriage? It doesn't have to be somebody that's, been moved millions of miles away. So we're going to take them now. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make them safe, because you don't need anything else but safety.
And this
Food.
is a fresh start. So
This is the fresh
this
start.
is from the No Faces, No Voices, which is
to
all
fresh
stuff we
start.
talk about.
Yep.
So hey, we're gonna have a fresh start.
Yeah. And now sometimes, and I'm not to say that I'm try to be a nasty human, but how I put it to them is, listen, everything that's happened to you in your past, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Today is your fresh start.
Wow.
Today is your opportunity. It doesn't matter. We're talking about all sorts of, not to be too graphic, but all sorts of horrible things in horrible places with horrible people.
Mm-hmm.
So when people make these movies, they really don't depict it worse enough.
Mm-hmm.
But as my friend said, if they made it any worse, nobody'd watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can just imagine the worst of the worst, but some aren't. Some could be just bad divorces, beaten, broken arm, or
No, but
something.
you're saying that the people that come to you
Yeah,
for the fresh start,
they're fresh start.
what is, just to give an idea, right? So we're here not in a movie.
Yeah.
People are already listening.
Yeah.
So if they're listening, what is like the most disgusting thing that has happened to someone that's walked through your doors to say, hey?
I think the most memorable one for me, and I've seen a lot of dead people, but two things. No, the most memorable one was the woman that sat down and she was calculated. There was no tears.
Mhm.
There was no screaming. There was no horror. And she said, Jan, she said, I hear you can help me. And I said, sure. I said, and she sat down. She brings out all her paperwork. All her documents were good. And her husband was sitting there. And I don't normally have husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And her daughter was there. So she's one child, one husband, one woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I know if you look at people's legs, their knees down,
Mm-hmm.
if they have told you the truth and they have really walked through a jungle, they're not coming with pretty shaved legs like a movie woman. They're going to have scars.
Yep.
So I asked her, I said, show me your legs.
Mm-hmm.
So she shows me the scars on there. And I thought, okay, because, like, bugs and stuff bite them and stuff and things like that. And she showed me those. So I knew that she had gone through, well, to the best of my knowledge, she had gone through what she said she had. And here's the kicker.
And what did she say she'd gone through?
Well, she had walked all the way through the Amazon to get to Mexico, to get to the border, to get to America.
Oh, wow. That's a long way.
So on the way there, she had started with 3 children and 2 were dead. And that's not uncommon because if you think about this, just go and walk in the state park somewhere or something a few days on your own with take your water with you. And then, no bug repellent and stuff. You'll be slapping yourself stupid, right? So if you can imagine, it's not snakes and lions or whatever that's going to eat you. It's really the infectious diseases and the bugs. So anyway, now she gets to the border and she tells me, she said, I got raped, but we all know the approximate cost of crossing through with the coyotes. So this lady, she tells me the story. She says
approximate cost $3,000. What do you mean?
$1,400 a human.
$1,400 a human. Okay.
Yeah. So she got to the border, and she said she got raped. Now she was very matter of fact. She's telling me this, and then she says, but the boss of the coyote came and shot the guy who raped me and gave me all my money back. So I thought, well, look at it logically. That's quite good business sense because anybody else ever coming across the border, if they get raped or whatever and they go with this particular person who's bringing you to America, then at least if anything goes wrong, he's going to put it right. The fact is you still got raped. And she got a refund. That to me was the most dramatic. I'd seen all these other things and all these other stories. That was the craziest story in my life.
Wow.
And then she's sitting there at the table. And so we help her get a job and on she went about her life with us. And typically most people stay with me 175 days.
Okay.
It takes 175 days for my friend William to get enough English in their head to get them to a success story. It takes 175 days for, no disrespect to women, but to get them to understand how to pay bills. It takes 175 days to understand that 9 o'clock is 9 o'clock. It's not 9:05. It's not 9:10. It's not I couldn't do my hair. No, 9 o'clock is 9 o'clock.
Wow. I mean, that is a lesson that you need to learn for any workplace.
It's like a tough love situation. So we tell people, we say, hey, Kate, if you can't get to work, call me. They go, oh, why? So I've got to go pick you up and take you to work. So there's no cars broken down. No, there's no excuse. You go to work. And if they call and they say, "Oh, no, my stomach hurts, my head hurts," I say, did you walk to the phone? No. Yes, well, you can walk, you can work. So, and then there's no excuse about their legal services because we have Gelmo and his partner. So, and there's no excuse about the car because we'll help you get the car. And there's no excuse about the phone, so we'll help you get the phone. There's no excuse about your bills because we'll help you pay your bills. So it's sort of like a one-stop shop. And then you start the journey. Now you've started this, you don't need me. And we always know when you're ready to go. And I sell it like this because, I have children of my own. So if you remember when a bird's in a nest, it can't, and it's tweet, 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 and gets fed. But just before it flies, it starts going up and down the branch, right? And I pretty much know that when those women are getting antsy about what they're doing and stuff, they're ready to leave. And so we get them, then they go into a permanent position.
And what do you mean, like, antsy about what they're doing?
Well, so this is a bit rude, but so when they first come to us, and now these aren't regular people in the street, remember? So when they first come to us, they are traumatized from something.
Yep.
Right? And levels of trauma can be anything from here to here. It's speculative and people deal with trauma differently, right? So so when they start to get comfortable, and that's why we try to put them into positions where it's the same time, the same day, the same days off. It's repetitive.
Yep.
When you do things repetitively and it becomes safe, you then get comfortable. When you get comfortable, you start to think outside of your box. You start to say, well, I want to earn more money. Well, I want this, and I want a car, and I wanted this. So it's sort of like, and I've done this thousands of times. This is not like one or two people. So we know when they're ready.
Interesting.
So they get antsy. It's almost like a kid that doesn't want to wear a diaper anymore. I don't need diapers.
Yeah.
Or when the next one says they go to junior school and then they're going to go to a middle school. When they go to the middle school, they're scared. But when they go to senior school, they're scared. Then I remember when my kids had to go away to college, they're like, oh, we're going away to college. After they've done a year, they're like big boots, driving a car, blah, 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 right?
Right.
But isn't it the same when you got married? You're like, oh, it's the first few days, I hope she likes milk or no coffee or something. After a few years later, you go, hey, you want milk? It becomes
comfortable.
Yeah.
When I'm ready for the next thing.
Exactly. So we pretty much know
when
that.
You say you've done this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So
we didn't used to count them, but I do have a record now.
You do have a record.
I'm quite proud of myself because my friend came to me and he says, you should count the people. So I thought, well, we have anonymity. We don't put pictures out of this people. And I've been called out on that a lot. They go, if you show pictures of them, I says, well, why don't I just put your picture up on here and go, here's where you can come and shoot them. No, are you crazy? So no, if you come to us, we don't put your picture out.
Yep.
Never. If you want to come to my office and see all the pictures, I'll let you come, but you're not bringing the camera.
Yeah, of course.
But you want to go for my filing cabinet? You go right ahead. I've got nothing to hide. But you're not taking pictures. If you want to go to some of the locations, I'll take you. But you're not going to film them. So we have some people that we take some group pictures that are not in that predicament. They're just people like William has come and does classes. Anybody can come to our classes. Anybody. So we have some of those pictures, but the majority of the people, no pictures. No pictures, no interviews, no nothing. But so
you've got when they graduate. So everyone that goes to your program. Let me see if I kind of get.
Oh, you wanted to know the numbers? Oh, this is
yeah.
I counted 4,000 mums. So I don't count the children. I'm not discounting the children, but normally it's about 1.5 children, say, per mother. So some have 3, some have 1, right? So
that means most have a child.
Yeah, most have a child.
So most that come to
have a child
are not by their own.
Here's why. Because it's complicated for them if they have no man to figure out how they're going to cope with their life with their child, right? We do a thing called cohorting. So I don't own lots of buildings or anything else like that. So I will rent one apartment for 2 women. So if they have 2 women, have 1 room each, and say bunk beds for the kids and a bed for them. So that means that if you work 8 to 4:30, I'm going to make the other person work, say 6 in the evening to say 2:30 in the morning.
Like at a hospital or something of this nature.
Exactly. Yeah, we use hospitals a lot. So I purposefully get you a different shift to the other person. So now you can take care of my kids while I'm at work, and you can pick them up at school.
Wow.
Because daycare, man's crippling.
So
now we do away with the daycare. And the other problem we do away with is the summer break. Because in the summer, there's 12 weeks. What am I meant to do with a bunch of kids all summer? So you go to bed typically to say whatever time you have to get up to take the kids to school. And then the other person has gone to work. Now, they get off work, they pick up the kids. So we call it, I call it cohorting.
Wow, that's so beautiful. That's a brilliant system.
Well, I had to come up with something because I didn't want to do all the kids and mothers, and I'm like having a brainstorm. So I thought, I'll turn them into their own daycare. So it doesn't work 100%. I try to be fairly pragmatic about this. I have a failure rate of about 20%.
Okay.
So every 2 women out of 10 fail.
Meaning they don't graduate, they stop coming, they go figure out something
There's
else.
no graduation as such, but they don't finish their 175 days. Right. They just go back. They could go back to being a prostitute. They could go back to doing whatever they want. And they go back to that way of life, whatever. Some people, you can save some of the people all of the time, but you can't save all the people all of the time.
100%.
So my little brain can only deal with one person at a time. That's how I got into being able to try and deal with it. I can help one person at a time. I can't help a million people. I don't have the funds.
Yep.
I don't have the infrastructure. So if I help one person at a time, at least I can say I helped one.
Yeah.
So that's easier to swallow, and it doesn't become overwhelming. So, but we did start to count the people. So I'll come back to that. And
over 4,000. That's huge.
We got the 4,000. I started to count them from 2020 going forward. I think we're over
12 years. That's 12 years you didn't count.
Oh, loads of years I didn't count. I didn't really care because...
And it's 4,000 since 2020.
2020, yeah. So because we...
So, I mean, you've only counted less than half, probably.
Well, I don't know. My friend started... okay, so I don't do any... I'm terrible at marketing. I came up with this brochure the other day.
Yeah.
So my thing was, he kept saying to me, my friend said, you need to put faces, you need to do this, you need to do that. I said, well, So I said, listen, they're faces. They're people with no faces and no voices. They could be sitting in India. They could be sitting in Africa. They can be sitting in any part of Latin America. They can be sitting here in America. But nobody is fixing their problem. Yeah. So... And that's a wrong statement because there are a lot of people out there that do a lot of very good things, but we still got 1.4 billion people.
Yeah, once you have that person in front of you, that person was not handled before. No. That person was not, let's say, that person is in need of some salvation, some guidance, some ministry, something.
Something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we do.
So thousands and thousands of people. So now, this program, do you have a name for this?
What? We started off by calling it Raise Your Roof because of the complexity of the pastor I told you earlier, which was rather sickening. But then we changed it to Globheart because it's a global program. It's the heart of God and it's global. So we came up, actually, it was a Cuban... a Brazilian friend of mine that came up with the name Globheart.
Globheart.
Yeah. Which was a play, and it's badly spelt, the globe bit.
Yes, like glob.
Glob, yes. But the reason we did that was it was the only way we could make sure that it was protected as a name. So...
For the trademark, have you checked? Maybe Globheart is not...
It's not been used. We trademarked it, and I bought every .com, .co, .uk, everything. I bought the whole...
But with the E or with no E? with the glob.
Yeah, GLOB. Yeah, no E. Yeah.
The other one might be available. I can check it out for you. I'm
I
very
don't
good at
know.
trademarks.
I don't know, but all I know is that I wanted to make sure that I didn't want anybody running, because when I did Raise Your Roof, I'm like fairly trusting, stupidly, sometimes over certain things. So I'm thinking nobody wants to Raise Your Roof. And then some guy from China or something started to try and sell it back to me for like $30,000. So I dropped it.
Yeah, it's tough.
But the Raise Your Roof was quite good because we were raising the roof for the children in this church, and it was raising your roof. We had a whole marketing behind it. You know, it was raise your roof, increase your expectations, take you to another level, make you a better person. And then I went to use it, and it was taken. So we changed it to the Globheart thing, which we can wrap a marketing tool around that. But
okay, so Globheart or Raise Your Roof, or who knows? Maybe, I mean, it's been going.
It's
so
been
your ministry, your mission. This is your mission.
Mm-hmm.
Now, thousands of people. And so the way you fund this is because
I'm self-funded.
You've placed the people. So so let's say somebody comes.
Yeah.
You bring them up. So first of all, you're working with William Tucker, his episode is on this podcast. You can see it. Using literacy and education to bring people up.
Yeah.
Plus your guidance of being on time.
Well, I have something funny to tell you. So I was with William, and I was talking to him, and he goes, Jan, how do you teach people to read?
Yeah.
So I said, I got this piece of paper. And he goes, this is crazy. I go, what is your name? What's your name? He goes, that's how you teach English. I says, man, I got to get them to read. I have like...
What's your name? And then they write their name? Or you write their name, or what?
They have to write their name. They have to do these colors. They have to say, good morning, hello, how are you, and this. He goes, man, that's intense. I said, I only have 2 hours. I said, I got to get him to read this piece of paper in 2 hours. He goes, that's nuts. I love it. So that's why I get along with him. So, because I do English classes with him every week, right?
Yeah.
And so he's so cool how he teaches it and gets them to do it. And then I might get a table of 10 people or whatever. And he sees me going, I go, it's Ellie the elephant. Read it. So I'm not probably the best person for teaching. I was like, it's a friggin' elephant. What part? We've read 10 pages. It's still an elephant.
Oh, jeez. Before you had met William, work with him or anything like that, you had your own program. You were like, you need to read. Right?
I had this worse woman before him. And 6 months later, all she'd learned was to teach them hot dog. I'm thinking, for the love of God, I'm paying all this money, and all you can do is 7-Eleven and order a hot dog. They're meant to be able to read and write. So that's when
So you were paying for someone.
Yeah. So then I started doing my own. I'm screaming at them. I'm like, come on. You've been here 6 months. You still can't read.
Wow.
And then it was like God intervened and sent me William. And William's got, Jan, I got it. I got this. You can do this bit and I'll do this bit. I'll go, okay.
And so he comes in
every week.
Does not get paid.
No.
Just making sure everyone knows this.
No, he doesn't.
He is volunteering, helping for the cause.
And it's not just him.
Yeah.
It's him plus it's him and Pat and Claudia and other people that come. And now my son's learning to be a tutor. And then we have another lady that's just joined to be a tutor. And then I'm a little neurotic and trying to be a tutor. And so, but the vision is for, okay, William, as long as he got a pack of cigarettes and Ellie the elephant, he's okay. He doesn't need it, and a lot of coffee. And he will you could put him outside under a tree. He's very much like myself. We're not looking for a lot of stuff back. So William is awesome like that. He doesn't need it. And his wife is the same. his wife was,
Surprising.
I don't understand why. I said to her, how'd you get two people get married and then be identically have the same cause and needs and everything?
Wow.
You know, normally you'd have to go out and headhunt somebody for 10 years to
mhm.
find somebody like that. But anyway, so the ambition is, let me go back to this. We're self-funded. So
And the self-funding, so
we create our own wealth.
and it's through,
And that's why I'm trying to get, and like you know, you go to pastors or imams. I was talking to an imam the other week.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, well, maybe, you know, he might get it. And you say, listen, this is what you have to do. And this is how, so how are we going to get 10,000 cities? That's 10,000 major cities. As I say to my kids, Google it. Google told me there was 10,000 major cities, not Jan. So you got the 200 countries, the 10,000 major cities. How are we going to self-fund 10,000 cities? That's crazy amount. That's millions and millions and millions of dollars. So we create in Sarasota about $3 million a year. And income. And then we spend direct. That's direct.
Yeah.
No, you understand that because you're a businessman. So direct to the individual goes 2.6 million.
Because that's,
So now
it
we're
might
left.
be like, so how does that, so
How does that work?
yeah, so
So
okay,
let me,
so
I should have bought you a breakdown sheet.
okay.
But we have the payroll.
Yep.
So what I do is I say to you, just say hypothetically, I said to you, you got $4,000 a month, and this is how we're going to teach you how to spend it. So I go to the client, which say was you, and you're going
Like
to say the hospital,
Yep.
a hospital, and I say, okay, I'm going to provide you these amount of people for these amount of days. At the end of the 175 days, unlike a leasing company, if you like them, keep them. They go on your payroll, and I will bring some more.
Yep.
So it's a perpetual problem. But if you think about it, it hasn't gone away in 2,000 years, so it's not likely to go away next week. It's not that we can stop the problem. It's that we have to make an attempt to stop the problem, because otherwise it would manifest even larger.
And you mean by the problem, you mean the amount of people who are in a problematic situation?
Yeah. So if nobody did anything for the 1.4 billion people, then it would just get worse.
Of course.
And humanity will get worse.
Yep.
And then, I don't know, you know, we need to do something.
Yeah, I mean, the ratio is actually mind-boggling. So you, of course, there's a team, and you have, and here, by the way, one of the reasons we're here is because I truly believe that good-hearted people of different faiths, of different religions, can come together
They should
and do holy-like things.
Right.
Do things that God, whatever you may call him, would be proud of. And working together, we can change the future of a few and the future of many.
Yes. That would be a perfect way of putting it. Yeah. An absolutely perfect way. Because we identify humanity. And when we identify humanity, when people are better to humans, they're also better to animals.
It's true.
And I grew up on a farm, and I think every animal should have a quality of life before you take its life. So if we acknowledge that, then also we should acknowledge that other humans should have a quality of life.
Yes. Now,
but listen, not all of us are bound to be the next discovery of the next something or the other, or the funny thing is, I would say this, when I've been into third world countries, if you want to call them other countries, I have seen people really, really happy in really small villages, in their little house with the little husband and the little wife and the little kids, and they're making their stuff and they're happy.
Yeah.
I have gone to people that are opulently wealthy and they got these beautiful cars, all this. And then, man, I hear the story behind the door. And some of those women are with me.
Wow.
But escapism sometimes isn't as simple as a chain. Escapism is to get away from somebody who's actually mentally got hold of you.
Yeah.
Fear normally comes by the capture of the mind. So if you look, and this is nothing to really do with what we're talking about, but it does have some principle behind it. If you look at most of your big time criminals, they're not 6'7", they're not 300 pounds, but they have the intellect to control the people.
Yep.
And they used other fear methods to make sure the other people over there understand that could happen to them. That's how they can control them and say, go and stand over there, go do this, go do that. And they do it. So in marriages, a lot of times, if we're talking about a man and a woman, the man gets hold of the woman mentally before he gets hold of her physically by either whatever nasty means. So it's not as easy for that woman just to walk out the door and walk away.
It is not.
So we get a fair proportion of those as well, and then to tell that person who's come from a lot of wealth, you're going to clean toilets now. So we will clean the toilets with them. I do the same job as they will do. There's no like me and them no, we go and do the same job. So they have to understand that sometimes to come back up, you have to go all the way down, but at least now you're safe.
Yeah.
And now when you go to bed tonight, that's your bed. When you go in that door, that's your door. When you shut that door, that's your home. There's nothing that anybody can take from that. So that's when they then settle down and then they rise back up. I have one story just on a positive note that this one girl, and William said for me to mention this to you, was that she came to me and when she first came, she was earning $14 an hour. Through William's program, she did so well. And at the end of it, she now earns $35 an hour.
Wow.
And that happened in 1 year. So she applied herself. So if you apply yourself to learning, you will get the breakthrough. If you don't apply yourself, you will stay where you are. So there's some effort. We can do all the effort we want, but you have to want to have the effort. You have to want to do it. And that's why I have this nasty saying when they come for the fresh start part. I go, hey, listen, today's your day. This is your opportunity. If you want this opportunity, God's given you this opportunity. All the minutiae you've had in your life before, that's okay. But today's your day. I don't want to hear about all the other stuff. And nor does anybody really care. Now, that's not always true. But let's face it, if you're going to a workplace.
In the workplace, it's not.
They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear about you getting raped. They don't want to hear about you getting shot. They don't hear about you stabbed. They don't hear about your drug dealing. They don't hear about how you got here. They don't want to hear about you got no money. They want to know if you can vacuum the carpet. They want to know if you can use the computer. They want to know if you can be an asset to them. So the big thing is to make all these people assets to society. Now, they're taxpayers, they're homeowners, they're contributing, they're higher level of education, and now you want them. You're saying, hey, Jan, don't take that one from me, and don't take that person. Don't do that to me. I want to keep that person. So now they're an asset to society. It wasn't that there were bad people in society. They're now an asset to society. They're taxpayers. They're all these other things, creating wealth.
They're giving more
than they're taking.
That's it.
So they're not a burden.
Yep.
So our objective is to turn them all into assets. Doesn't matter what country they're in.
Right.
Just turn them all into assets. Everybody likes an asset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody likes that bottom margin. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and so how does, because All Saints Ministries, it is a religious place. Or no? I mean, it's ministry, the word,
Ministry. Well, I happen to be a priest.
Okay.
But I really couldn't care if you're a monk.
Right.
Or a Buddhist or something. I don't care. I mean, here's the thing. I don't practice telling anybody what they when they come, like, I don't ask them to be a Christian.
Right.
I don't, oh, does the Lord save you? No, I don't. That's your problem. We, and there's only 3 of us, remember, there's not 50 of us doing this. So we, as a little group, we believe in what we believe and we do what we do. So we're the example of what we believe.
Wow, this is.
So that's all. You just believe what you believe, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody says to you, well, why do you believe that? Well, I could bore you for an hour and tell you I got stuck on a floor or something and blah, blah, blah. But I believe what I believe. And then people go, well, tell me some more. And I say, well, okay. But I don't go to them. Listen, I'll tell you, this is a funny thing, because when you go to seminary, one of the things they tell you have to go out and try and lead people to the Lord, right? Well, I'm not the smallest human being, right? So I walk up to people in a shopping mall or something, go, hey, could I ask you if you would like to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Well, of course, most people would go away, you horrible thing. Leave me alone. Don't shoot me, take my purse. Just run away. So I adopted a different, this is really sacrilegious, but I just don't do what I do, as I would say this. So I go to this, I thought, man. So the one day I was told I had to go out and get 70 people to give me their name, address, and telephone number and accept Christ. Now,
70 people in one day.
No, it was over. Yeah, I had a whole week to do it. So I'm like, going walking around Walmart and stuff, and hello, and then hello, like pushing their truck. I was like, could you just give me 1 minute of your time? And then in the end, I thought, oh, this isn't working for me, and I became really blunt. I said, look, let me tell you this. I really don't care if you say yes or no, but I have to ask. I said, I need 70 names and addresses. So I said, if you help me out here. And that's how I ask people. I said, would you just help me out? And they go, well, what is it you want? I says, well, I have to ask you these questions. And one is, do you accept Christ as your Lord and Savior? And they go, and so a lot of people go, no. I go, okay, that's all right. And they go, and 2, could you give me your name and address? Do you know how many people do it? They go, okay, we'll help you, young man. Well, I was a lot younger then, not old, fat, and grey then. So then they go, aren't you meant to ask us how to get to heaven? They're like very indignant. I go, no, the Bible says I only have to ask. It's not my problem if you get there. And then people would get really upset with me. They go, well, shouldn't you try harder? Don't I have a right? And everything else. I said, well, okay, I'll do it with you. So a friend of mine who was going through seminary at the same time, he was really polite, the Spanish guy. He goes, I'm going to try it. First person, he goes up to this woman. She turned around, a big old black girl. She slapped him right up the side of the head.
Oh, no.
He goes, that didn't work for me. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know why we even spoke about that.
So you don't. So in this program, as they're coming through,
so I don't.
You don't. Let's say proselytize.
No.
To them, even though it's because you perform that. You have these teachings in your church, right?
I got 3 big crosses up in the sanctuary.
Okay,
it's not like you can't miss them. On the other side of the wall, I put up all the disciples and why they ended up in a bad situation.
Oh, wow.
Because everybody's like, oh, it's so great. No, I don't want to be one of those 12. I don't want to end up upside down, dead, head cut off, and all the rest of it. I'm not signing up for that. And then, so I put the crosses up. And so we have this like big room in the back that's sort of like we can have meetings in. And they can't. And then you come in my office. I mean, I got icons, I got crosses, I got this, I got a poster. It says All Saints Ministries, Orthodox Catholic Church. I mean, it's not like you
it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a holy space. You're
but
there.
Yes, I don't say anything.
Okay.
There's myself, the Bouvier, which is a dog, my son now, and an assistant. That's it. And I guess if you don't like dogs, we'll put him in a crate. Some people are scared of dogs, but he's very friendly. So, and we're very laid back. You can have coffee, tea. We always give candy to the kids. That's my warped sense of mind. So I fill them up with sugar and then they can leave.
Yeah.
Their mum's like, they're bouncing off the wall.
Yeah. And so
we're
this
very friendly.
amazing. Absolutely. That
We
much I know.
try.
Yep.
And we purposefully, and this is, I got a criticism by this guy in Pakistan one day. He goes, "Oh, well, you're in America. It's easy to do business and this." Man, there's no bus stop where I am. I'm behind the airport in Sarasota on the back street in the hood. I mean, I'm one step away, and it's a tin building. It's nothing nice. And the reason I did that is, funny enough, a lady came to me and she offered me a nice office downtown Sarasota. Well, it would have been great. I could have eaten sushi all day and everything else. But I said no. I wanted to be in a very, very bad location. And the reason is, if I can do it in a bad location, in a tin building behind three other, I got car dealers and stuff in front of me cutting cars up and things. So I'm behind them. If I can do it there, you can do it anywhere. That was my point. My point is, if I can do it there, you can do it anywhere. That's
Wonderful.
my point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't some sort of. And only reason I did that is because I got ticked off, because the people kept saying, "Oh, you can't," blah blah blah. No, it makes no difference. What we
the
do,
guys criticizing are the ones not doing things.
yeah. But
if they were doing things, nobody would criticize his work. You've gotten probably 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 people.
I don't know.
To from
all those years ago,
unable to operate in society through educated how to read if they didn't, educated how to work, and moved on. That is God's work. And anyone who's criticizing that has not ever tried to do it. I can guarantee you that.
Yes. Yeah, if you don't try, you don't know, do you, right?
No.
But the majority of the people that come don't last. The ones that come to try.
You mean to volunteer? Like,
yeah, to volunteer.
Hey, let me help.
No, they don't. The pastors, friends, they come for like 2 or 3 days and they go, this is a lot. It's like, and I can say this about pastors. I'm not going to talk about any other religions. I'm just going to say about ministers. A lot of ministers have the saying that, they have to have a meeting. And I've come to the conclusion, a lot of these guys have a meeting to have a meeting to have a meeting, and they achieve nothing. They said a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then going back to bed. It's okay to get up and just go pray and this and that. You should pray anyway. You should be praying without ceasing anyway. There's no revelation. But then what are you doing to change society? What are you doing to change your community? Aren't you meant to be the person that's changing your community? Aren't you meant to be the person that's pouring out into the people? Not meant to be pouring out into you. You're meant to pour out into them, right? And I guess if you're...
What do you mean by pouring out into? What is that? What do you mean by this?
By that statement, if you... It's not your congregation's job to make you feel better, or make you have a new Mercedes, or make sure you go on a fantastic cruise or anything. I've been to too many churches where they're taking up another offering for the pastor, another offering for his wife, another offering for his vacation. Well, forget about it. He doesn't need that. So, and then they say, well, he's the man of God. God called him to do his job. You don't need to worry about him. You don't need to worry about me. God's got me. I'm meant to pour out into you. We are called as pastors, and this is going off on a tangent because this is not where obviously I came to talk about this, but we are called to be a servant unto you, not the other way round. I don't be carrying my Bible little hat or something. No, God sent us a servant unto you. He sent Christ to be a servant for us to die. He died so we could have eternal life. He didn't die because he had a bad hair day. So no, it's the wrong way round. And so when you commit to if you commit to do the job that I do, that's a commitment. That's nothing to do with you. That's not your problem. I committed to do that. I committed to help those women and children. I don't need no pat on the back. That's my job. That's what I've been called to do.
Yep.
So when other people come and they go, oh, this is a lot of work. I said, well, why'd you go work at Walmart? Why'd you go sell burgers?
Yeah. I think it starts with the example, because if, as you're saying, pouring into others, if you see what Christ did, that was not an easy job.
No.
That's probably maybe the hardest job that could have existed.
Right.
So the idea is to be in the image of God. To do that, you have to do a job that is difficult. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm agreeing with you is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but now I will say this. When I was in Mexico, I seen priests do jobs that I wouldn't even want to start to do. And they do it. And more power to them. When I've been to other countries, more power to them. Very sacrificial, very humbling. Make me feel like I haven't even started. But
so what could
I never forget. I was with this priest in Mexico City, actually, and I says to him, I says, man, how'd you do this? And it was funny how he told me the story. He goes, I'm from Italy, but I speak Spanish. He says, so the Something Sisters of France pay for this outreach. I said, oh, nice. He goes, so the priest died. So the Vatican sent him there. And he said, I came for like a few weeks. He said, I've been here 20 years. I says, oh my God. I said, I feel your pain, man. And oh my gosh. So I got pictures I could show you, but I got these pictures of me and him together. And oh my gosh, he was out there, people chasing him and stuff and things, and he's like and he's like 80 at this time, and he goes, I'm so grateful you've come. I goes, why? He goes, because at least you can sympathize with me. I said, I wouldn't want that job for love nor money. I said, so,
Wow.
But man, there are people out there. And then I met this one priest, little tiny guy on the border. And he really messed my head up. What he did was, he was standing there, and when the people are getting off the train, right, they were getting taken to be harvested. And I got some pictures. And one day I show them to you, but I got these pictures. And so they take them. And I says, man, how do you deal with your brain to let the people take them? And then you're only left with, they say, 30 or 40. Because as they're coming across the train from Venezuela, they come down through the train and they're on these cargo trains. Well, if they're looking for different body parts and stuff, they take them off the train and they harvest them. But harvesting results in your death. It's not like it's not like a general anesthetic.
Yeah.
So, and I says to him, I said, I don't know how you deal with that.
So there's people escaping, right? They're trying to come to America. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So something like they're crossing. Some of them make it, and the other ones get taken and
harvest. Yeah.
And so
but you've heard about harvesting. Listen,
course.
You don't have to, as I say to my children, you don't have to believe me. You can Google it or you can YouTube it.
And it's not
public.
I mean, it's in every country. In every country.
Sorry?
Every country.
Every country.
There's no special
I'm trying to help a friend of mine get elected to become a senator because I want him to become the only pastor that's ever become a senator. And the reason I want this done is I want him to put into law that people in, say, this country, just use this country as an example, if they gone to another country and they got those kidneys or liver or whatever, and then they come to another country, that you go to the doctor and you tell them, the doctor, hey, listen, I need the same drugs to stop, because you have to take drugs to stop your body rejecting the other body part, right?
I didn't know.
Yeah. So anyway, you normally have to stay on drugs for the rest of your life for that. Like if you get a replacement heart or something, you have to. But otherwise, your body rejects it because it's a foreign entity in your body. So I would like a law passed that if you can't identify where you got your lung, your liver, your kidney, your eyeball, your heart or whatever, it wasn't given to you through a person having an accident and they voluntarily gave it to you, I would like them prosecuted for murder.
Wow. Right, because you've seen now you see these guys they're getting taken off, and
they don't go along and say, "Hey, excuse me, I'd like your kidney." They just go take it.
yeah.
So
It's a
that's
crazy world.
insane. So anyway, that's not really why I came to talk to you
No,
about
but that's
that.
okay. I mean,
But
listen,
that's
at the end of the day,
the real trauma.
it is the vices.
Well, what would
Because
you do
sin,
if you think you're trying to get from Venezuela to America, and then lo and behold, you end up being harvest? You never made it. You
No,
might as well have stayed in Venezuela.
absolutely. Oh,
You didn't get on the train to sign up for that.
No.
And on top of that, you paid to come.
You mean with the coyotes or whatnot?
Yeah. You paid the person who's going to transport you from point A to point B, and then you end up as a victim.
Yeah.
That's not right.
That's tough. And so, okay. Well, we got on that because the priest the priest that you met, he's getting the people to arrive, kind of like yourself in a way.
Well, but
arriving the people.
Far worse, man.
But salvaging the guys that did make it. That was his job.
And he would help them, and they'd get back on the next train, and they would carry on across Mexico. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that is true, just to mention about the law that you're mentioning, and I think a lot of these crimes against humans, okay, occur through vice or through, you can call it sin, you can call it whatever you want. But for example, on this trafficking, when it's sex trafficking,
right,
it comes through someone who's ordering that human being. I mean,
there would be no trafficking if there wasn't. There would be no McDonald's if nobody ate burgers.
Right.
There would be no end result. So somebody on the other end, and a lot of those people are not necessarily very wealthy. They're just sick, but is paying for that service. So there would be no orders of any kidneys or livers or lungs.
Right.
If the other side, if I told you, you said to me, "Oh, Jan, I'm going to go to hospital and I'm going to sign up for a new kidney," just say you did. And I said, "Oh, by the way, make sure you get one that's like legal, because if not, you're not only going to get a new kidney, you're going to get put to death." Now it doesn't really matter if you got a kidney or a liver or a lung, because you're going to get executed. I'm not a proponent, actually, of the capital punishment, because I feel sometimes it doesn't perpetuate to the right levels to take somebody else's life, to get the other person. If I was incarcerated for life, I'd rather be put to death. Prison is not a good place by any stretch of the imagination.
I've seen interesting story. Well, I've had on this podcast, and I'll share it with you.
I spent a time as a chaplain in a penitentiary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so in the penitentiary, exactly. So there are some programs that are quite effective. Actually, I mean, I'll share with you the episode. But there's a friend of mine, Greg Capazorio, and he's led reform in prisons.
Yeah.
Very, very effective, based on L. Ron Hubbard's work, primarily The Way to Happiness.
Right.
And there is a video of people that will say, "Listen, the best thing that could have happened to me was to go to prison, because they were able to rehabilitate."
Like
yes,
that,
you ministered in there. Anyway,
I met that, and some people said and I had one person. I was in a women's penitentiary, and the woman said to me, she said, "If it wasn't for my husband turning me in for being a dealer, a drug dealer, I'd be dead." Do you know the man used to come every week and see her? But then other friends of mine that have been chaplains in men penitentiaries, the stories they've told me and the men I've spoken to. So I agree with your friend, and I agree with any level of rehabilitation is correct. But I'm just saying, I guess there's two sides to the story. One, I would be a crazy person if you ever touched my children. But if I'm logical and I'm sitting here, it would say, well, it would be better for that person to be incarcerated forever. In actual fact, in my mind, it's worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This all depends
anyway,
on the prisons and conditions and
well, and most of them are pretty horrific.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so what I kind of just to bring the
Full circle.
sorry, yeah, just to go back to the income and the ministry and how it funds itself. From what I've kind of gathered, but I guess I didn't hear you say it specifically, is that so you have a deal with the hospital to provide work, almost like an employment agency,
Yes.
right? And so you say, hey, I'll provide these people who can work, and you bring them up to that level. You reintegrate them to society. The hospital will pay you because it's some
Yes.
sort of a commission or a placement fee, or how do you?
No, I actually invoiced the hospital for the man hours.
Okay,
but it's not just a hospital; it's
multiple. Of course, you have to work. There's multiple places.
Mm.
Okay, and then what if? How do you if you're going to multiply this, right? Or are you showing other people how to do it, or is it or people just donate to this program to help get more people, help get a facility, or can they do it in some place? What is your next step here?
And so actually, I was talking. I suddenly realized that because of my background, and say somebody like yourself, I could say to you, "Hey, listen, just do a cost analysis on this, and off you go." You go, "Okay, Jan, I can get that part. Just show me this part with the people and the labor and this, and you'd be fine." I suddenly realized that in seminary, they teach you no business acumen at all. And in Bible school, they teach you no business acumen at all. They don't teach you that 2 and 2 makes 4. They might think that 2 and 2 makes a loaf of bread. And so there is no common sense to it. So you get them the pastors come and they sit with you and you say, "Listen, this is what you have to do. Plus you have to deal with this person." And they go, "Oh, well, there's other places for them to do that. And there's other charities that could help them with workforce. And there's other." But then what happens is this is all segmented. How are you? So we're like a one-stop shop. You get your home, you get your job, you get your food, you get your income, and we will sort your transportation out.
A true fresh start.
It's one-stop shop. So then the people are loyal to you because you've helped them go forward. So if you're using a biblical principle, which I'm not saying you need to, but from my standpoint, if you teach them how to fish, they're going to be able to catch their own fish. If you keep handing them the fish, they're going to be as redundant as when you started.
Yep.
And if you don't show them the basic plan of life, they're not going to get out of the minutia that they were in.
Right.
Or they were in the minutia, but they can't get it together. They can't get that piece together. They can't get that fixed. So it's sort of like short shock treatment. It's like boom. And that it does work to a degree. It's not foolproof. As I said to you, I have about a 20% failure rate. So 2 out of 10 don't make it.
On the failure rate, people, is there any common denominator that you see? Something they might have adopted, or what is
you mean
causing issues?
The 20% that fail? It's normally to the economics. It's what they used to do was very profitable.
Oh, okay.
And so you have to ask the question, is it more peaceful to have this quality of life now that you can, if you're patient, you could get back to that level of income by educating yourself? Or is it simpler to go back to where you were and earned a lot more money? Some of the people, not to be too graphic, I point out that, listen, it's all nice and tight and looking good now, but add 30 years to yourself and you'll end up looking like me. So, and nobody is going to be excited about me. So, you need to look to yourself and say your vocation that you've chosen in life is
Limited.
Is limited. Very much so. And also other aspects of criminality. Do you want your children? Like I asked the question when they have kids. I say, don't worry about yourself. What about your child? Don't look at yourself. You're meant to die for your child. Would it not be nice that you could come home every day and see your child? Would it be not nice that you can go to the park and play with your child? Would it not be nice you could see your child graduate? Would it be not nice that you could see your child grow up and have children? Because the path you're going to go down, I guarantee it's not going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, in America, social service is going to come take that child. Now what you going to do? So you can either listen to me now or you listen to me later. Now, I will say this. If they fail and they come back, I'll take them back.
Yep.
Right? But if they affect the others by failing, then I will not put up with that.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go.
You mean like if they bring something to the...
If they bring something worse to the table that's going to affect and hurt the other people, I don't care what they do to me.
Right.
Right? But if it's going to bring a more of a devastating reaction to, say, somebody else who's very sensitive and everything else, then you have to go.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, so how do someone like... how do we support this movement, I guess, is a question. And say I'm here, I'm like, hey, this is beautiful. You're rehabilitating people, bringing them into society. True help, right? It's not just here, take a piece of bread for one day or for 1 second.
You got to change them.
This is a true transformation. How does someone get involved in this?
Well, so this is the first year that we have stepped out because a friend of mine told me to step out. Otherwise, I don't normally, you haven't seen me on other TV shows and stuff. And so right now, we did a fundraiser the other day. So if somebody wanted to do if they had another nonprofit, like, I don't know if you have one or not, but if you did, I could cohort with you and do it. Protect Our Children is another ministry that I'm aligned myself with Ernie Rivera, because that's for the whole United States already. That primarily affects schools, to make sure that children have rights in schools to be protected, not to have to go to, one girl, one bathroom, one boy, one bathroom, nothing in between. So, and we really need to bring awareness so that that we could take that to the other 200 countries. So, I guess that would be my answer. There's 3 parts to it. You can either do it yourself, and I will give you all the tools I've got. You can
how does someone reach you for that in case?
In
case there's one.
Okay, so case 1, we had to redo part 1 through 10, as I said the other day, rather than 10 through 20, because I thought that telling you the structure of how I did it was enough. I've come to the conclusion that I said to William yesterday, I said, I'm even have to put down, you need a pen and a paper.
Yep.
You need a cell phone. You need a laptop. You need some type of address. But I was assuming that I was talking to pastors. I was assuming I was talking to imams. I was assuming that these people had got their act together. And they don't. So right now, over the next couple of weeks, we're trying to rewrite 1 through 10, not 10 through 20.
And those are the steps of what to do to start. Okay.
Yeah. If you're in America, in Florida, go to Sunbiz, make sure you're registered as a non-for-profit, make sure that you have qualified yourself to the IRS, that you're tangible and you're credible, make sure that what credentials you have around you are reflective of who you are.
You'll give them the steps.
Yes.
And to reach you, is this through the email, I guess?
So they can just contact myself. And we have All Saints Ops at gmail.com.
Okay.
We have All Saints Ministries website. We have my phone number, which is crazy because I put my cell phone number out there for everybody to call. I have people all over the world call me all that time of day, so I don't really care about that.
Okay, so that's the one. One way
Yeah.
is you can help them learn, they can contact you.
Yeah.
And 2 and 3.
Two, they could help us fund an outreach
Mhm.
so we could raise up capital.
Mhm.
Yeah. And 3,
And that's
they
also on
could,
your website? Or how does
yes,
someone
they could go to the website and sign up, send copious amounts of money to their .com. Or, and they could be a partner with us. Yeah. So not everybody's going to go as deep as we do. So they could volunteer if they wanted to. They could set up a program. I talked to a lady the other day in Kentucky, and she said, well, I can't do all of that. I said, well, you can start with one and I'll help you. And so some people could start on a smaller scale and some people could do a bigger scale. Some people, I had to learn from a pastor friend of mine that not all people are going to do what we do, but some people will just pay for it.
Yep.
And he said to me, he said, Jan, he said, they have already earned their money from their business and they just need a tax write-off. And I thought, oh, well, okay. So I'm not really good at taking money from people because I'm not giving them anything in return. So I try to give back.
You are giving things in return.
Yeah, but so just say, for example, you said to me, okay, Jan, we got this kitchen thing going on and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, so how can I give back to your kitchen business? How can I put back to you? That's why I quite like the relationship that I have with the hospitals because they
Right?
get
It's
something out of it.
symbiotic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very symbiotic. So I try to bring value to the donation. If somebody said, oh, blah, 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 and this is not really right in lines of the IRS versus donation. It's meant to be donated and that's it. But in my mind, I have a real problem with it. I struggle with that because if you do something for me, I want to do something for you. I don't want you just to do something for me and then I've done nothing for you. I'll
Well,
be walking around feeling guilty all day.
Jen, I just want to point out that you are doing that all day. You're doing something for people who are literally receiving your help. Yeah, they're going to help you, but by becoming better human beings.
Right.
And if someone donates to you, I donate to you. Well, you're helping me by salvaging people who are going to be valuable citizens in the world.
Right.
So it is an exchange. It is you will help anyone who donates to you. You put that toward doing what you're doing more.
And actually,
Then
we also do identify that. So I'm very open book. Like if I have an external payroll company and I have an external invoicing company. So the money here and the money here has to equal the money here. So we are transparent like that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So anyway, guys, definitely support All Saints Ministries. Jan Underwood, truly a human being. I was trying to do math in my head. I can't get it through right now, but from what you're doing and the people that you're working with, if, I don't know, 500,000 people, 100,000 people did what you were doing, this whole thing would be solved.
Yes.
I mean, like, it doesn't take the whole world because impacting 10,000 lives, like, that's just unbelievable. And of course, all the lives that
But if we
all those people and who they affected, because it's not just one life, because one life, everyone in that circle, everyone who they meet is also affected. So the ripple effect is massive.
So if you have 9 billion people and only 1.4 billion people need the help, then you only need to help a quarter of a human.
Right.
Yes.
Each
you
person.
don't need
Yeah.
you don't have to sign up for a whole human.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and to be fair, because I live in America, to the American government, the 1.4 billion people, the taxpayers of the United States wouldn't be able to pay for it. There is not enough. So a lady said to me a couple of years ago, she says, well, how much money do you need? I says, well, you don't have enough. It's not, you have to just take it from where it is at. You can't try and absorb the whole thing.
Yep.
We could have a movement, which would be awesome. And coming to your point about religions, organizations, and groups, my friend, and he's a Scientologist, and he's a really close friend of mine. And some of my friends who are not Scientologists said, well, how can you work with him and this? I says, well, okay, it's real simple. You're not doing what he's doing for me. So if you want to do what he's doing for me, then you do it and I'll tell him not to do it. It's not rocket science. And another friend of mine, Burhan, he came to help me because when he came to America, it was a priest who helped him, not a Muslim, not the imam. It was a priest who helped him and his mother when he come here as a refugee. So Burhan, I says, Burhan has keys to my house as well. I says, Burhan, he's a funny guy. I says, Burhan, I says, hey man, I says, why do you want to help me? He goes, well, Jen, it's just because you help people. He says, I says, well, I said, so the point is, it's a consolidation of all of us coming together, not to worry about if Burhan's a Muslim or I'm a Christian or the other guy is an atheist. I have a friend of mine, I will put my life down for this guy. And he thinks I'm as nutty as a fruitcake because he says, well, Christianity is just fake. It's like you could call him Fred or whatever. So I go, okay, but the man has never let me down.
Right.
So it's not because he believes in what we do. So it's not necessarily the faith-based part. To me, obviously, that's important. But to other people, it should be the humanitarian part.
Yes.
It should be, and it's not about the nationality, because I'm about as far from a Latino person as you could get. And I always think that God hates me because he put me with all those Latino women. and so it's as far as you could be. Why did God take a fat white guy from England, put him in America, and then send him to all those Latin women? Why? That doesn't make sense, but it does because it's humanity. It's for everybody. It's not a separation of me being English, them being, say, Spanish, me living in America. It's no separation. It's all of us, and it's for the same common goal, no? I think, So, I guess at the end of the day, it has to be for the common goal of humanity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, my faith is my faith. Your faith is your faith. I'm not questioned that since I've been here, so I don't know. I don't need to know. I do know the reality of it is obviously you have from sitting here, you have the same feelings towards changing people's lives.
Absolutely.
And so, it would be awesome if we could have a giant party. Now, if we had a giant party, yet again, I've been to some of these nonprofit things, and like the chicken, I think, committed suicide. It's so badly cooked. It was horrible and everything else. And you pay like $200 for it. And they say, well, it's for the cause. You don't have to have bad food and bad entertainment just to raise up funds for people. So if I have my way, because yet again, we'd be giving back value for money, right? Have a nice location, nice event, nice this, nice that. And then the people, they donate like, I don't know, $100, $500, $1,000, whatever. And then but they got something out of it, and they got to know that they changed somebody's life.
Yeah.
That's how my brain thinks. And I know that's not how some other people's think. People write scratch checks for like millions of dollars, and that's okay too. But at the same token, they need to see where the money goes.
Yes.
Not into oblivion. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They need to see. And I'm very much into inviting people to come and be with me. with the hope they might run off and do it themselves, to be honest. But
I will put all the links down below. So really, if you want to get involved, like change someone's life, see them go from
in your own town,
misery,
Yeah.
yes, to citizen, contributing,
yeah,
happy, saved, solve it, whatever you want to say.
whatever you want to call it.
And religious, not religious.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a godlike activity. It is
But
a
on a small
wonderful
scale,
activity. Yes.
on the tiniest small scale, just offering knocking on somebody's door. I used to live in London, big city, and nobody, because I come from a country in the countryside where every village, villagey, everybody's in your business. And but offering somebody a cup of coffee or having a drink with them and just being personable is a start.
Yep.
If you don't have to do what we're doing, but you could do something just to be nice.
That's true.
Yeah, just a little bit.
That's right.
That makes an impact.
And that's why the podcast is called Don't Do Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Because you can always do something. A little thing can reach very far.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Jan. Really appreciate it. And it's been great.
Bye.
Thank you.